Hey guys, so this is EXTD Tech here on a video how to do two things related to sound on your Windows 8 and 8.1 machine. So today we'll be teaching you how to improve the overall sound quality on your 8.1 and 8 machine, and change or improve the sound signature based on what kind of headphone, headset, or speaker that you're using. Okay, so before any of you actually start to mess around with your sound system inside your computer or start to mess with the tones, there are a couple of things that you should know before actually changing or improving your sound. So basically, a lot of people ask, what do people mean by highs, mids, and lows when they're talking about a headphone or a headset or a speaker? So basically, to begin with, your lows are your bass frequency. So you hear a lot of talk about, enhanced bass or better bass frequency inside a headphone or a speaker, and basically that's what they're talking about. They're talking about the lows, the low frequency of sound, which is your bass. So if you can imagine a bass drum or a nightclub with heavy electronic music, that's basically your bass. That ear vibrating sound that you hear is your lower end sound, or your the lower end of the frequency spectrum in terms of sound. That's your bass frequency. And then when people talk about treble or your highs, they're talking about your higher frequency of sound. So you can if you imagine a high note on a violin or a very, very sharp note that's really, really high, or a little bird chirping, that's your higher range of sound, which is a little bit more sharp and a little bit more, it's on a higher tone. And then when people talk about mid-range is usually referred to as your middle ground between the two. It's not too high, it's not too low, and usually it's something people only really high-end manufacturers of headphones really care about, is your mid-range, because that's required for like musical clarity, which is usually, if you don't have a good mid-range, or if it's lacking mid-range, I'm looking at you, Beats, very, very much lack your highs and mid-range. So yeah, that's basically what they're talking about. The mid-range is required for clarity. And that's it. That's all you really need to know before you start messing with your sound. So now what you're going to use to change the tone or frequency of your sound, you're going to use what's called a graphic equalizer. So you're going to go down, move your mouse to the bottom right, then find search, or type in sound in your search charm, and then click this one, and then you're gonna go down to headphone or whatever output that you have active. You'll have the little green check mark here. You're gonna right click on that, click on properties, you're gonna get this tab, then you're gonna go to enhancements, then you're gonna go to equalizer. So this is what it's gonna look like. It's gonna be unchecked, it's gonna say none, and it's gonna have the three little dots here. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna click the three little dots, and then you're going to get your graphic EQ. Now you see that none of the knobs are moved or anything. They're all in their, the same position that you'll find them in is this. So this is a balanced EQ. So now to explain what a graphic EQ is actually used for. It's actually used for balancing out the sound of a headphone or a headset so that your highs, mids, and lows are all equal, that one doesn't overpower the other. So usually what happens is when you buy, a Beats headphone or a Soul Republic headphone or any of these new fashion headphones that I particularly don't enjoy, is what the companies do, again, is that they increase the bass frequency that the headphones output. So you get more bass, you get that thundering, ear vibrating noise, and then, basically your vocals and your highs frequencies tend to get kind of muffled out, and they tend to be drowned out, and you can't really hear them well. And then the bass is just, you're getting this party music sound where, like in a nightclub or a bass drum, like I mentioned before, you're just getting this loud thundering bass, which is overpowering all the other parts of the music. So basically what the EQ is used for is to change that sound so that you can hear it as the artist or whoever designed the sound intentionally or originally intended you to hear it as, basically, to hear it as the original sound that the creator created. Basically, that's what an EQ is actually used for. So it's not used to increase the bass or increase the treble to a point where it's unbalanced. It's to balance all the sound out. Though a lot of people now do use it to enhance the bass and then try to overpower the other sounds because people enjoy that kind of thing. But for the purpose of this exercise, we're going to try and flatten the response in your headset. And again, I'm going to say it again, all headsets are different. So, if I didn't mention it, I'm going to say this now, all headsets are different. Some have more treble than bass, some have more bass than treble, some are perfectly balanced. So if they're balanced and you don't hear like a need to change it, then it's fine. But if you hear that you're getting more bass or you're getting more treble and you need to change it, this is where you're going to go to change it. And so basically, I'm going to be playing a track in the background, and I'm going to be showing you what happens when you change the lower frequency settings. So if you move the knob up or if you move the knob down, what does it do to the sound of the music? So a lot of this is just experimentation. You're going to have to play around with these knobs and see how it changes the sound and then change them accordingly.
I've got a question, if you'd hear me out. In your defense, you never had a chance. And so tell me straight, I won't go. This is our time now, I'm sure. Make no mistake, that we are closer than we're far. Embrace for impact, fight your fear fire. Embrace for impact, I'm a future's engineer. And baby, I'm here, I'm here, I'm here, and baby, I'm here, I'm here, baby, I'm here. Baby, I'm here. I've got a question, if you'd hear me out. In your defense, you never had a chance. And so tell me straight, I won't go. This is our time now, I'm sure. Make no mistake, that we are closer than we're far.
Okay, so now that you've learned how to kind of fix the tones up, to kind of balance out the sound in your music, now I'm going to show you how to improve the overall quality of your music and what it actually why it actually matters in terms of computer sound. So from the same tab from enhancements, you're just going to go one to the right, which is advanced. Now your advanced tab is going to have just two boxes: exclusive mode and default format. You're not really concerned with exclusive mode. If it's unchecked, just leave it unchecked. If it's checked, just leave it checked. It doesn't really matter what it is. Okay, and then you're mostly concerned with this box. So what this box shows you is your channels, your bit depth, and your sample rate. Now, a lot of you won't be really concerned with the channel or the bit depth. You're more concerned with just the sample rate of the music or the sound, whatever you're listening to. So at 44,000 hertz, usually it's the lowest standard of this kind of generation's sound quality. So that's why it says CD quality, because CD is kind of like old, but it's kind of the standard. So a lot of like lower quality music is usually sampled at this frequency. So 44,100 hertz is usually lower quality music. Usually you're gonna want music or sound that's in this range, the 16-bit, two channel, 48,000 or 96,000 hertz. Even though you have to keep in mind that YouTube videos or a lot of music doesn't usually go past 48,000 hertz. So this is usually the best quality you're gonna get. So you hear studio quality. You see all these studio quality hertz. It's not really gonna help the quality of your music or sound, because YouTube and most music is only sampled at this rate. So going up to these bit depths and these sample rates aren't gonna really help. So so if your YouTube sound is only here, moving it up here won't really help. So the best quality that you're going to get out of YouTube or any music that you have is pretty much the lowest common denominator. So if your music is sampled has a sample rate of 48,000, this is pretty much the best quality you're going to get. So, but if you have your computer at here, it's going to sound worse than 48. Your music is going to sound worse than 48,000 because you have your computer set at this level. So you're usually just going to want to set it higher. Anything higher than this, it doesn't really matter. So I just usually keep it on the highest, So like, why not? It's not going to really help. You're not going to really hear a difference past 48,000. If you do, then I don't know. It's probably your headphones, or it's probably a placebo effect. But yeah, so past 48,000, you're not going to really hear much of a difference, but it doesn't really hurt to keep it at the max. So just keep it at the max and click OK, and you're done. That's it. That's how you improve the sound of your system. So you're really going to have to, after that point, you're going to have to see, a combination of tone. You're going to have to use a combination of tone control and the fixing the sampling rate to improve the overall sound of your system. So everything is different. That's why my specific setup won't really give you an indication of how your setup will sound. Everyone has different equipment. So it'd be best to see if you could find YouTube videos on other people who have your same equipment. Or that's pretty much all I can. That's all I can really advise you to do, and use these steps to kind of improve your sound system. So that's it. Now you have a well-sounding sound system, and music and videos are going to sound better than you've ever heard it before. So thank you for watching. Please rate and subscribe, and thank you.
Love you.